All righty. I think we're going to go ahead and get some things kicked off. Before we do an introduction and get into the slide deck, I just want to talk about a rule of engagement. We love these things to be interactive. We want as many questions from you guys as we can get. In Zoom, if you look down towards the bottom of your screen, in the toolbar, there's a Q&A button. You guys can pop that up. You can ask your questions there. Us moderators will take a look at those questions. We want to answer all of them towards the end of the call or whenever we see fit, but that's how you guys can interact with us during this presentation. All right. That being said, today we're here to learn why IT leaders are betting big on AI and automation for their service desk processes. Quick introduction for myself. My name is Tim Laws. I'm Senior Manager of our Solutions Consulting team here for North America. I have way over a decade of experience at this point with sales training and implementation, providing technical resource leadership for the North America group of SummitAI as well. Some of my previous experience, I was a military contractor, got to travel all over the world doing implementation, training sessions, and sales. And I absolutely love what I do. I love the ITSM processes. I love interacting with all of our customers and meeting new prospects that are out there. And now I'm going to hand it over to Jason.
Thanks, Tim. I'm Jason Urey. I'm a senior solutions consultant here with Summit. Have over 15 years of experience now. I actually ran a service desk for a hospital for about 10 years before moving into this role that I'm in now. I'm also ITIL 4 certified, and one of the things we're going to just be talking about today really is AI and automation, what that means for your business, how it can benefit not only you but your employees, and the overall value of the business itself. So we'll get into a little bit more of a demo of the environment at the end of this call. We're going to go through a couple things here first. First off, what are some benefits of AI and automation? Everyone's talking about AI, everyone's talking about automation, but what does it really mean for your business? What is it? How are you going to benefit from that? And one of the ways in which we do that is really removing manual processes. So a lot of times you have things that are repeatable actions, and automating those processes can just remove that manual element. It also can improve on your customer and employee satisfaction. The AI component, especially, just getting them the service that they need as quickly and efficiently as possible. Going back to those manual processes, part of that, creates inconsistency. So, when you have the human element, you have people that maybe do things a little bit differently. That could just be how they create a user, how they create a mailbox, what they, the settings that they might provide, or permissions they might provide a user. So you can remove those inconsistencies by automating the process so that, you have less of that human element to it. And obviously that improves productivity and the reliability. So it's created the same. It's always, the same for every user when they're getting created. Or mailbox being created, whatever it might be. So it's just a more reliable process when you use automation. And with the AI component, getting more feedback of how those processes are going. And then what does that say from an impact standpoint? So see from this chart, this is from a survey done back in March. In seeing an increase in things like agility, a 33% increase in agility for your business, 36% increase in developing new data-driven business models, increasing employee experience, skills acquisition, customer experience, productivity. So all of these are increases to your business from what you're doing today when you leverage AI and automation across the business and with those different processes. And so all that's great. You see that increase in, customer, experience, productivity, all of that. But what's the bottom line? It brings value. So it's not only, better experience for your employees, for, customers, you're seeing all of those things pan out. But according to Gartner, using AI and automation, different methods of AI and automation within your business is going to increase the value of your business. Anywhere from a 13% to a 44% increase in value by the year 2030. So a lot of businesses are leveraging AI, they're leveraging automation, and by doing so, they're directly affecting the bottom line. They're seeing an increase in value across the business. So how do we come into play? We're Symphony SummitAI. So we are a enterprise service management solution. So that includes a suite of different products I'll talk about here shortly. We're one of the preferred tools according to Gartner, Peer Insights, more preferred than your BMCs, your ServiceNows, your Cherwells within the space. We have a suite of different products from service management to asset management. But one of the things we're going to talk about today is CINDE. That's going to be our AI-powered digital agent. So that's 24/7 support. So you, rather than a live person, you've got an agent that's able to auto-resolve, provide self-service capabilities for your users, allow them to check status of tickets, things along those lines, and it leverages AI to provide those suggestions and route those things properly. And then that can be combined with our service automation suite. So service automation is going to allow you to automate those processes I was talking about earlier. So whether that's creating user accounts or anything along those lines. Our service automation has various scripting languages you can leverage. So PowerShell, VB script, Python. There's about 250 workflows that are out of the box. So a couple examples of those, as I've mentioned before, is just like those creating the users, mailboxes, things along those lines. So we're seeing a huge benefit to your business by automating those things, and then productivity for your analysts is going to increase. I'm not going to go through each individual thing here because there's a lot here, but as I mentioned, about 250 of these like right out of the box. So for Active Directory standpoint, you've got 80 user creation or creating an OU, adding a computer, joining a computer to the domain. Those things can be automated, and these are out of the box. In addition to that, some Exchange, examples of, creating those mailboxes, increasing the size of the mailbox, creating a distribution list or modifying who's in that distribution list. And then from an Office 365, because again we're cloud. A lot of businesses are moving to that and have already been on Office 365 for a while. So you can leverage this with Office 365 in addition to an on-premise Active Directory or Exchange. And with that, I'll go ahead and move into the demo portion of this as well. So bear with me 1 second here as I switch over. All right. So we'll first touch on CINDE, as I mentioned. So CINDE is going to be that digital agent. So this is the SummitAI platform. You'll see the digital agent over here on the right-hand side. So this is CINDE that lives here on this self-service portal for the user. User can click into that and just ask questions. Maybe want to say like something like my VPN isn't working, as an example. CINDE's going to take that information and then might provide like a knowledge base article in this particular case. Click that. So in this case, we've got a how to fix a VPN. We've got a video that we can watch, a knowledge base that we can view. That might solve the problem. It may not. And if it doesn't, you can log an incident. So maybe I needed to log an incident because it doesn't fix my issue. And so I might get some suggestions here of like, what do you need assistance with, or describe your issue. So CINDE's going to walk me through all of that. So in this case, I'm going to select VPN is not working. That's going to be a template. It's going to go ahead and create that incident for me and submit that. And then that can be, because it's a template within the system, it gets routed to the appropriate group. The right people get to, view that information and gets it in the right hands at the right time. In addition to that, we can leverage, something like shared folder access. So I might need that. CINDE can then, say, well, what type of access do you need? So there's 10 departments. What department do I need access to? Maybe I need access to IT. Then it's going to ask me, well, what folders do you need access to? So I've got some, prompts that are going to walk me through that. So I need access to, the service management, department. Do I need read access, write access? I'm going to go ahead and say I need write access. And it's going to go ahead and get that submitted for me with the approval processes. And then this is where the orchestration can kick in. So orchestration at this point, or service automation at this point, can kick in and run those like scripts that, to provide that access, post approval. So if we switch over here to our, this is going to be our service automation dashboard. So we can see when, these workflows are running, when the scripts are being executed, have they been successful? Have they failed? What's the, ratio that we have there? What's the most common ones that we're running? So this is giving you some good stats on that. But the different scripts are going to be configured within here. So we can create, our different, PowerShell, Python, scripts in here, and then we can create the workflows. So the workflows can be from an access rights, file management, whatever you want to create here. And these have your specific different workflows. Let me actually switch back here. Let's do user management, and we'll go into this like 80 user creation as an example. And then this is just your workflow. So if we wanted to, we could add conditions in here. When does this run? Do we need to have conditions in there that says that we only run this if, a certain field was filled out? Or do we run this all the time? Do we, have an option for a failure? So if it fails, do we run something else? So we can create these workflows. They're all, just drag and drop. If we have another script in here, we'd want to, pull in, we can just drag that in and then create this, maybe on failure, we go do something else. So we can create these in, again, set the schedule, set the, when it's going to run, just configure those all within here. And then the scripts themselves, as I mentioned, I'll go into that 80 user creation. It's just creating a PowerShell script. So it's just going to execute this with whatever, information you provide it. So we're just going to configure these, set those workflows up. And so in addition to, CINDE being able to run and automate that process from an end user standpoint, service automation then takes it from there and finishes it on the back end. So from there, I guess we can go to our Q&A. Tim, I'll let you kind of lead that for us.
I'm actually curious, Jason, with the technology that we have today and that you just showcased, kind of going back in your previous role many years ago when you were actually leading that service desk, what areas do you think that this would have applied the most for you guys? And the reason I'm asking is in the back of my mind, I mean, obviously every IT organization is incredibly important, but you're supporting the end users that are actually supporting human lives at the end of it. So I'm just curious to know, like, what changes did you make during your tenure there to automate as much as you can? Like, with CINDE, how would you see that actually affecting your end users in a real world scenario?
Yeah, I think the 24/7 component of it is very important, especially from a hospital setting. Hospitals don't shut down. They have to be available, and that means IT has to be available 24/7. So being able to leverage, an agent, a digital agent that's available 24/7, that can route things, can handle things, it's going to, it's so much better. I mean, I did on call for the hospital many, many times, and had to, wake up in the middle of the night because, someone forgot their password, or
Right.
they needed access to something that they didn't have, and so having an agent that can field those calls and possibly solve those issues without it waking someone up in the middle of the night, I mean, that's a huge benefit. It's good. It directly relates to employee satisfaction. So,
Right.
not having to wake up in the middle of the night. So I think that's a really important thing from a hospital standpoint, is having something like that as a, first step before getting to the next person.
Yeah, and I think when you said employee satisfaction there, obviously if there's a technology out there that can get the end user the answer they need right away and 24/7, like you said, I mean, that's going to lower your mean time to resolution. You're not going to have as many interactions as, internally skipping between assignment groups, things like that as well. So I could definitely see that being a benefit too. What are some of the experience you're seeing with our customer base and with the prospects we're talking to, as far as kind of where the end users are getting the communication from? Because there's plugins with a bunch of different applications now. Ours works with Teams and with Slack and things like that. I mean, I know we're in Slack and in Teams all day for us as well. So what have you been hearing from our prospects and our customers as far as like employee engagement?
Yeah, that's a great point. So yeah, we obviously are in different communication tools. So there's different methods in which your users are going to communicate with IT or with HR or with whoever is providing support. And so the good thing about CINDE is that it's available in Teams, it's available in Slack. So you can get that stuff right in front of them where they typically would communicate. So if some users want to communicate, via email, some want to communicate via Teams or Slack. You have multiple methods in which you can, leverage this technology and get it in front of the users where they typically would work.
Yeah. And then one more I've got for you. I kind of see, CINDE as being having capability kind of from the get-go of handling the low-lying fruit and the questions that the service desk is always getting answered, and kind of those repeat issues that are popping up. Just going back to the second slide you showed, where it was the impact of AI and automation on your business. I'm just curious to know your thoughts on that, and if you had AI technology to kind of take care of tier 1 support or 30 or 40 for 50% of that, what would you have done with those additional resources you now had at your fingertips, and the time those your technicians would have had available?
Yeah, I mean, so there's a lot of projects that get tossed to the wayside. Like,
right.
We hear it all the time from IT organizations. It's like, we don't have time for another project. We don't have time for another project. There's things that need to be done that they can't get to. They're always putting out fires because that's what IT does, because they just don't have the resources. So anything like this that can free up those resources, I know from personal experience that would have allowed us so much more time to spend on, getting a PC refresh, as an example, like rolling out new computers to departments beforehand and being, without just being reactionary.
Right.
It's like, oh, your computer broke, so let me get you a new one. We could be, proactive and get those out, in a timely manner. So.
Awesome. I think I'm tapped out of my questions. One thing I did want to bring to attention for the other attendees, what we were showcasing you guys today was, it's CINDE, but it's the first iteration of CINDE, CINDE 2.0. We're not super creative with our naming here, but CINDE 2.0 is coming out in the next couple of weeks, and that's going to be a complete overhaul of our AI technology. It's going to be a whole new look and feel, way more capability, et cetera. So we're super, super excited to have the ability to demo that for you guys. We will definitely be setting up another webinar where we'll kind of walk you through the capabilities there and the refresh that we're going to be seeing. But after that, Jason, I don't know if you had any closing remarks you wanted to say.
No, just really, I mean, trying to leverage what you have available to you. I mean, that's the ITIL thing, is start where you are. So if you've got some technology currently and ways in which you can, you know, leverage automation in some way, shape, or form, that's really the most important thing. I mean, you know, there's lots of capabilities out there, and I feel like people are a little afraid of it sometimes, of automating themselves out of a job.
Yeah.
But you know, it's beneficial to the business at large, and so.
Yeah. Awesome. We did have another question come in. They wanted to know, when we were going through the service automation dashboard, like what level of coding do you need to kind of understand that, et cetera. It's the dashboard is there to show you, you know, the scripts that are being run, what's their success, what's their failure, what happened, where's the error message, et cetera. So that's all pretty intuitive. The orchestration scripts themselves, you definitely need some scripting capability. Obviously, we support multiple script languages: PowerShell, Python, you know, Bash, Batch, et cetera. We have, I think it's, what was it now, Jason? Over 180 out of the box, and I'm using air quotes, you guys can't see, but at 250, yeah, so it is over 180. So I was right too. I was still right. So yeah, 250 examples of orchestration scripts that we've configured previously. And so those are, you know, they need a little bit of tweaking, obviously, because we don't have the information for your specific systems, like Active Directory. Obviously, we wouldn't have that for security purposes. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely designed where it's hopefully a set it and forget it. So once they're in there, those scripts are running correctly. You know, you're fixing hundreds of issues that are coming in, and saving yourself time, as Jason said, for repeated tasks that are just taking time away from the servers, so you can allocate to other resources. So great question there. Cool. Well, I think we can wrap it up. I want to thank everyone. Jason, that was a fantastic job. Thank you everyone else for attending. As you can see on the screen here, if you guys would like additional demos of CINDE, service automation, SummitAI itself, please go ahead and send an email to summit.sales@symphonysummit.com. And then if you want some light reading, where we have thousands of our technical documents, you guys can go and look at that. It's a public facing website. That is just docs.symphonysummitai.com. Awesome. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care.
Thank you all.